Greetings to everyone. It's been quite a while since we talked last, and I'm really happy to be live again with some new sessions. Let's wait to see who are our first followers who will be joining our live. So I was telling you that from today onwards, we're going to organize new live sessions on Instagram, not about Indian culture, but something about super exciting travel. Travel at this moment is not taking place. However, it's a good time to plan it, to think about it, especially about the international one. So we have a very special guest today with whom we're going to talk about travel. We're going to talk about solo travel, as well as some challenges, taboos that people face when especially female travelers plan to travel to some countries which are not so common. So we're going to touch those topics, and we're going to connect right now with Natalia, Nata around the world. I would definitely request everyone to follow her. She is a very exciting personality. She's a person who has been to so many countries all over the world, and we're going live with her today. She's going to share her experience with us. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Hi, Nata. I'm so
Hi.
Thank
Can
you so
you
much.
hear me well?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much to accept our invitation to be live.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really a big pleasure, and I really appreciate it.
So to start with, I would like, Natalia, you to introduce yourself. Please tell us about yourself. Tell us how many countries you have visited, how generally you travel, how comes, because I'm so jealous of you that you travel so many countries.
Well, first of all, you should not be jealous, because if I remember the history of our meetings, it happened all around the world. So yeah. Just shortly, we met in 2013 in Ukraine, first time. Then next year I came to Armenia and we met in Yerevan. It was in 2014. In 2015, we met in Germany. So it's the third time, and then last year in 2019 we met in India and Rajasthan. So yes. Hasmik, you are also a traveler.
Yeah. Indian traveler.
I remember our last meeting when we were talking, where will we meet next? And yeah, next time we meet directly in the pandemic online. Yeah, unfortunately. But let's hope for further meetings somewhere around the world. Yeah. Now, to my personality, yes, as you said, thank you very much for presenting me. So I was born in Russia, and I moved to Germany 20 years ago. And since that time, I am basically traveling, and I try to travel as much as possible. And before March 2020, it was basically non-stop traveling. I have visited 79 countries. I count only those countries which are on the list of United Nations.
Oh my God. So, countries. Okay.
There are some more which are officially recognized by the United Nations. Yeah, but let's talk about them. So 79, yeah, and I was on the way to visit much more, of course, this year. There were a lot of plans, also for India too. I still have an open visa for India for this year. It will expire in 1 month, unfortunately, so I will not use it, but I was supposed to go in May. Yes, but I travel non-stop normally, and also I'm leading the youth organization in Germany, which is quite international, and we do projects all over the world. So it's already really not just European organization. So we have done projects in Africa, in Asia. So It's very, very international. It's not a humanitarian organization. It's an organization which is involved in education and human rights education. So we never go to Africa to give a fish. So we never give something, but we create the possibilities, create the opportunities for young people all over the world to learn with us, to develop their skills, and to have better perspective in their life and to be more integrated. In specific, we are dealing more with migrants, with migrant communities, or with communities from minorities, all kinds of minorities. So, and it's all over the world. It's international. It's pretty fun. Yeah, it's nice to join. I know that you were at our project as well. So
that was also your project. So I'm really well aware of the awesome work that you're doing. And it's really nice that you've mentioned that you travel all over the world in combination with your project. So can you please share with me, as a very active traveler, I call these people who visit 50 and above countries, you are one of them, travel gurus. So what do you think, what will be the future of travel? Because our organization, we are not a travel agency or travel company, but we're an organization which deals with social impact side of the travel, which could be education, cultural understanding, tolerance, as well as wider horizon. So what do you think for our organizations like us who care a lot about other aspects of travel and who really long for the international travel to reopen? Would people be interested to travel? Are the young people, older people, generally, what are your comments?
Well, it's really quite a big impact on us, on all of us who are doing international projects, either it's volunteering or exchange of students, exchange of young people, etc. Yes, in this period, all organizations were almost helpless and couldn't do their activities normally. Okay, some tried to do some activities online, made podcasts or Zoom meetings, etc. But of course, it's not a replacement of real travel, real meeting, of international meeting of people. And the beauty of these projects is not just learning in the group. It's the beauty of the projects that when people meet in the non-formal settings, when they talk with each other, when they take coffee together, when they eat together. This is the beauty of these international projects, because people start living as a family. And I have been to your organization as well in Jaipur. And so I remember all the girls. I remember we spent one evening together. So it's the beauty of human meeting, of people with different backgrounds coming from all over the world. So not any single Zoom meeting or podcast can replace that. It's out of the question. So of course, so our branch, our field was very highly impacted. Right now, what I see in Europe, like the trend is opening up. So I see that the borders are being opened, but again, it's according to the bubbles. Yeah, so Europe is opening for its own bubble, Australia with New Zealand, and so on. So it's like in bubbles. However, I saw the trend that there will be exceptions. And for example, right now, if you live in, let's say, Bosnia or Serbia or Armenia, you cannot visit Europe. So you need special permission. But what I have heard in just yesterday, that they want to make like for students, for international exchange, for volunteers, they want to make special permissions that with this authorization, you still will be able to travel, even if the country is closed. And apparently, what I see from the situation now, even in some countries, the numbers are quite high. Still, it goes into their direction of smart lockdowns, so that not the whole country is closed, but that it will be according to small points. So they look for where there are more cases, so they close that area, but not the whole country, because obviously so many million of people lost their jobs, so the organizations couldn't work. So, and it's not only just tourism, yeah, not just aviation. It's a huge huge cluster of people all over the world. Yeah, so from the cleaner of the hotel to the educator. Yeah, so it's a huge amount of people affected. Unfortunately, so the travel is reopening very, very slowly. Still, it doesn't mean, even if the borders are open, still it doesn't mean that it's very easy to travel. Unfortunately, starting from 2020, travel will be kind of adventure. You know, every travel. So it's very difficult to book the flights still. Even between the countries where the borders are open, still you can book a flight, next day it will be canceled. So there is no security in travel as it used to be. Yeah, so it's quite tricky. It's possible, more or less. It's starting to possible. I know that for India, it's still very, very difficult. Yesterday, just
the numbers here are growing again. So
I know I had a friend in Delhi just yesterday. She left, so she was staying the whole lockdown in India, hoping that it will get better. It will get better. Yesterday she left back to Germany. So I am, of course, I'm not a wizard. I'm the same as you, but I hope that the travel will be slowly reopening. Still, it will be very tough, and it will be like, you know, like if last year I could say like, hey, I was in Malawi, I was in India, I was in Indonesia, and today somebody would tell me, you know, I was 3 days in Italy last week, and I'm like, wow, are you crazy? Because really the travel.
And I was like, wow, are you crazy? I saw that you have been traveling. So you can't stay at home.
Yeah, so in my opinion, the travel will be possible. It will be challenging, and I hope that there will be exceptions for the international students, international volunteers going on projects. Also, another good tendency, because I'm a fellow at different institution, German institution also, and I'm a fellow also at the Institute of Foreign Relationships of Germany. And I see that they really, and I have projects with them this year internationally, and I see that they really, really hope that I will be able to implement. Unfortunately, it's possible to implement them only this year, so the grant will expire if I don't do
in
this
our
year.
case, we have we work with the Ministry of Education in Finland, and they also hope that they will send their volunteers and interns to us this year. And I'm thinking, hopefully, let's just wait. But I mean, yes, if you have something planned and programmed, if that is not a spontaneous plan of just going and doing some project, it's very tough to reschedule as well. So I understand it. It's really a challenging process for you, me, people who are affected with this field. So, Natalia, next interesting point that I would like to discuss, because you've traveled to so many countries that I would definitely hear a comment about. Don't travel alone, you're a female. I would like to understand your opinion about all these taboos that people have about solo female travel, and especially about your thoughts, as you've been to many Asian countries, you've been to African countries. What are your thoughts about simply traveling alone as a female? And what kind of tips you could give us?
In my opinion, solo female travel is one of the best things in the world. Many people think that it's so dangerous and that you will be cheated, someone will trick you, I don't know. Frankly speaking, when I started to travel solo, out of Europe, let's say, because Europe is quite, I'm familiar with this, so it's not a big thing to travel alone in Europe. But when I first went to travel alone out of Europe, I must say that I felt so safe, and I had a feeling that everyone wanted to help me. You know, like when you travel in groups, when you are like, I don't know, in couples, actually nobody cares about you. Like you have to manage by yourself. Of course, you have friends with you, so we support each other. It's probably easier also to share costs for transport and so on. But when you are alone, I have a feeling that people just want to help you. I was addressed so many times everywhere, starting from New York to Delhi, where people just ask me, when I maybe looked a little bit perplexed or looked lost, just people came to me, of all people of all ages and all genders, and they asked me, like, do you need help? why are you alone here? Can we somehow assist you? Yeah, and it's amazing. When I was in India last year, I remember my last day in India, I was in Mumbai, and I decided to go for manicure and pedicure. I was a bit bored last day, and there I met a woman. She was a fashion designer in Mumbai, and she's like, "Oh, you're so cool. Why I didn't meet you before? Like, I could show you Mumbai from the best side, and let's go to my place and so on." So it's actually it's really exciting. And about the dangers, many people say that it's dangerous. Um, I don't know. I think like if you behave correctly, if you try to blend in, if you know the traditions of the country, you know the cultural norms, I think nothing can happen to you. Like it's important to prepare yourself, not just go without any knowledge and then like with a huge camera, I don't know, looking like a tourist, I don't know, from Miami or whatever. Just try to blend in the traditions, in the culture of people who you visit, and then it's fine. So you can visit the tribes. You know, I was in Ethiopia where I visited the tribes, and I came there alone. So I was in the tribe, and people kind of respected me. Like they asked, "Why are you alone? Where is your husband?" But in general, they took care of me, you know, and I felt that, and it's very, very nice. So I think it's a very nice thing to travel alone.
Yeah, so your tips would be to blend in and to understand the culture and to try to keep closer to the locals rather than just be the fancy tourists all over.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I can tell you, of course, a lot of travel stories from different funny things. But normally all these stories are very, very positive. And, you know, in my previous interview, I was asked, like, tell us a scary story that happened to you during your travel. You go alone to the countries like, I don't know, Nigeria. How come? And, you know, when I started to recall it, I understood that I had a lot of nice stories. Maybe I'm just so positive that I remember them only, and bad things I forget. But I can tell you only positive experience, and I don't know if we want to talk specifically about India. I can tell you also many stories.
My next question was, what were your impressions about India? Because you've been here for quite a good period. You've been on a project for meaningful travel, so it was not just a random visit. So you came prepared. So what were your impressions of India? Maybe
yes.
there's some good and bad stories as well.
In India, I was very lucky that I managed to visit 4 states. My first state was Delhi, and then I went to Uttar Pradesh. Then I was in Odisha. In Odisha, we had a project there. I stayed the longest time. Then I was in Jaipur. Actually 5. And then I was in Maharashtra in Mumbai. Maharashtra. Yeah. So I was amazed by India. First of all, of course, I read a lot about India before, and there were so many articles that India is dangerous. Don't go alone as a girl there. Don't go to these places. Stay just there, and so on. So many warnings. And, you know, when I came, I felt quite the opposite. I was never harassed on the street. So everything that was so much spread on the internet, all these stories about India, actually, in my case, it was not true. I had probably only one story where some men tried to knock at my door in the hotel. It was actually in Jaipur.
Okay.
And, they knocked, I didn't open, and then they decided to call from the reception, and they asked me if I have a cigarette. And I understood that something is wrong, and I started to talk with them in a very strict way. I said, like, if I hear one more knock and one more call from you, I will just call the police. So I said that, it stopped immediately. So you just, even if something happens like that, you need also to know how to react. Yeah, so you need to be prepared. So that was my experience. And in India, I met everywhere quite nice people. You know, when I came on the first day already, so I couldn't find a hotel. There were guys who helped me. Then I couldn't, somehow I had a problem always with the internet. And there were
Yeah.
always girls at the airport who helped me to connect, to order, not Gojek, to order Uber, yeah, to order Uber, the car, the taxi. So there was so much help everywhere. So I absolutely cannot complain. And there were like guys, even we were on the same plane, and then we landed, and he asked me like, do you know the way? Do you need the help? I will ask for the taxi for you, and so on. So it's quite
Actually,
opposite.
Indians locally, they do know that their country is challenging. So very often they want to make sure that for foreigners, it should not be as challenging as it may be described in international media. However, very often when they start interacting with locals, even in Jaipur, I've noticed it so many times, and I tell to our participants as well, if someone tries local, if someone tries to talk to you nicely, you can talk to them nicely. If that's like a couple or a nice, I don't know, young girl, or even a man who tries to simply help you, it's totally fine. However, there's the tricky other side where there could be people who really don't experience seeing many foreigners, and then they just want pictures, and it can be a bit intimidating for foreign people who visit here. So that makes them think that everyone is like that. The person who comes to help you, they usually can think that, you know, they just want a picture with me, or they just want to ask something from me. So this is very important to share to people, that, you know, don't think that everyone is just negative and everyone has negative mindset, but there are a lot of people who simply want to help you. Okay, this is really nice to hear that you had a good experience with India. If you had a chance to describe India with 3 words, just 3, what words would you use?
I would say colors,
Colors?
herbs, and life. So
Yeah.
because for me, India, it's such a colorful country. You know, when I came, I was just fascinated by all the colors of the clothes everywhere. People just wear these extremely beautiful colors. Like when you go out here in Europe, it's usually like 2-3 colors, mostly like black, gray, and so on, white, yeah. But there you see yellow, but it's like yellow, orange, and so absolutely all colors. Very beautiful. Then the herbs, it's about the food. Of course, I was fascinated by the Indian food. Everything was delicious. Everything what I tried. So I love spicy food.
Okay, you love spicy food and you love dishes.
Yeah, because when you travel a lot, you just start loving spicy food, because spicy is like 70% of the world is spicy. It's just Europe is not spicy. So, and you start loving it because it's like really amazing. And now in my kitchen, I have spices from all over the world, and I use them every day. And it's important for me. So, and so the food is awesome. And you know, there were so many places where actually I didn't understand what I ate. Like, what is it? Like, I don't understand, but it's delicious. So I just trusted. And, you know, I remember when we were in Odisha in India, and we went far, far away into the jungle. We went to meet the tribe, which lived in the forest, and they prepared for us lunch. They gave it on the leaf, on the big leaf, and there was obviously rice with something else. And you know, many people from our group, from the project, they were like so skeptical. Oh my God, should we take it? We don't know. It looks strange, and so on. I ate it, of course, and it was just delicious. It was nice, you know, because Indians know how to cook, know how to enjoy the food. So it's obvious. And life, because it's just so full of life and full of surprises, you know. In India, you go on one street and then you turn left or you turn right, and you don't understand what to expect, because there's some. It could be a temple, it could be a celebration. There are so many different holidays, you know. I stayed in September, October, and I didn't know. I came to another city and there was something that people were celebrating, you know, and in every state it was very different. So it was really pretty lively.
This is great to hear that you had an amazing experience in India. Okay, so we covered the main points that we wanted to talk today about. Let's see if we have anyone who would like to ask questions. We have just people sending us hearts and hello. Hi to everyone. So this is the good time to ask questions if you would like to hear some replies from Natalia. She is from Germany, originally from Russia, and she has traveled to how many countries? 78?
79.
79. Yeah, so if you want to ask some tips from Natalia about any countries from the 79, go ahead, use your chance.
Yeah. Also, I want
people comment that India is all hearts. Yes,
yeah.
It's all love. Yes, Natalia, you wanted to comment about something?
Yes, also just if we continue about India a little bit before the questions come up, you know, we were in this Odisha state, and Odisha is pretty non-touristic state. There are not so many tourists like in Jaipur, for example, or in Agra or Goa.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in Odisha, we went to Puri, which is a holy city. And so after Varanasi, I think it's the second holiest, one of the most holiest cities in India. And we visited the Jagannath Temple. Of course, we were not allowed in. It's only for the locals, only for the Hindi people. And then we went to this holy beach, where next to the beach, there was a crematorium. And for me, it was the first time to see crematorium. Of course, I read a lot about Varanasi, and this is the place where I really would like to visit. But in Puri, it was also so big and so visible, and we saw everything, and I could come inside and I could ask people what's going on and why people are just burying the bodies here on the beach. So it was like really big experience for me. And you know, it's something that you can see only in India. Of course.
I have not seen it. Imagine I'm here in India since several years and I've not seen it because I live in a part of the city where there is no specific place for crematory. So you're lucky, and it's a good chance to observe. Yeah, it's cultural, totally culturally different thing. So we have a question. Marie is asking whether you have visited Armenia.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Armenia. Yes, I have been to Armenia. Let me count. I think 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. I really like Armenia. And, you know, first time I came there for the project. And I just fell in love with people, with this hospitality, with the food. And for me, it was so nice and convenient to organize projects in Armenia. You know, it's the country where it's really, really pleasant to work. So I have very good partners. I'm lucky. So we agree on everything. We find wonderful places. It's always so cozy. Either you're in the mountains, or last time we were in Dilijan, and we traveled around Dilijan also a lot, and we went hiking to the mountains and to the monasteries. And you know, it's also very, very relaxing and nice feeling to work there. You know, I don't feel any stress when I work in Armenia. Also, what I like about Armenia, it's a really very safe country. It's quite small country. But, you know, we had a lot of cases where the participants, for example, one of the girls once forgot her huge camera in the center of Yerevan in the shop. And after 30, 40 minutes, we remembered about that. So we went to look, and it was far away. So we returned. Of course, we kind of had no hope that it will be still there. And then when we came, we found a lot of guys who were looking and asking everywhere, did you have a camera? We found a camera. So everyone was aware, and they were looking for us to give us the camera. So it's such a safe, nice, hospitable, very delicious country. I really love Armenia.
We do have projects in Armenia as well for volunteering abroad, but we don't target Yerevan. And if you have any chance, I would really love to invite you to rural volunteering experience, because villages in Armenia, maybe you've seen them, it's again a different experience. To live with locals, to see how they, I don't know, make their food, and then how they milk their cow and treat their animals, and then the kids just having one school in the village, having a huge community together, celebrations together. It's a totally different world.
Absolutely.
And yes,
I agree. I'm a fan of rural tourism actually. Okay, big cities are nice, maybe just to go to like to put like done, yeah. So okay, I have seen big cities, but I enjoy small towns, I enjoy villages, I enjoy rural tourism where I can be immersed into the nature, into the culture, where I can be close with people. That's why I personally prefer everywhere to visit small places rather than big cities.
I have one question. You've started already traveling. This is something which I know about. Even closer areas. What kind of regulations you would recommend people to follow about their safety when they travel? Is there something specific that they should take care of, except just washing their hands and sanitizing and keeping the mask?
You mean for right now, for this period? You know, at the beginning when the pandemic came in March, and I just came back from Singapore, and I understood that it will be a really long time at home and without possibility to travel abroad. And the first days I was very, very frustrated. I was also afraid, and there was so much panic in the air and so on. But then I started, as we didn't, in Germany, we didn't have any like proper lockdown or curfew. Yeah, we always could walk around and we could visit places in the country. And so I decided to discover my region. And you know, frankly speaking, I was really shocked that I live in such a beautiful area. So it was amazing. I never knew that we had so many castles, that we have rivers, lakes, mountains. I was like, how come I live in this city 8 years? I didn't know about these beautiful places. So dear friends, when you start traveling, I know like I get a lot of questions about how to start travel. How do you travel? Are you rich? We need the money and so on. No, it's important just to start traveling, and you can start from your place. Yeah, you can start from places nearby, from the neighboring town or village. And believe me, in every area there is something beautiful to see, especially if you love nature, or like it depends what you love. If you love culture or religions or religious monuments, etc. So, and I was really shocked about all these beauties. I made like so many pictures in this last 3 months that I think I can open another Instagram account just for this area, you know, with all the castles and nature. Yeah, and so we just went, and you know, in March everywhere was empty. Everywhere we were just alone. Okay, many places were closed. But you can see from outside. It's not important always to come inside or to visit the museum. You just can enjoy from outside. And so we visited so many national parks and natural reserves and the castles during this pandemic. And at the beginning we were alone. Of course, now everything's full of people. People already travel everywhere. But it was really, really amazing. So I'm sure that in India it's possible to do the same, and everywhere. And in Armenia as well.
In Armenia, it has already started. There are a lot of groups that organize rural travel. They organize hiking. This is a common kind of activity. However, in India, at least in Rajasthan, it's not that common at the moment to travel because of the heat. It's super hot here, 40 degrees, 40, 45, because it's the real summer here. But yes, we do expect that once we feel that the numbers of the infected people is getting a bit down, we can travel at least locally. Because like our Dharamshala project coordinators, they invite us to Dharamshala because it's cool there. It's nature, it's greenery. They say, come here, at least you haven't been to Armenia this year. Come and see the mountains in the north in Himalayas. I think this is a good idea, yeah, to travel locally, to discover the place where you are, and just to enjoy the present with positive anticipation of the future.
Yeah, it's important just to be positive, just to try to use the time properly. I know that many people are really traumatized because they lost their job, or they lost their business, or they could not take their opportunities. Still, it's very, very important just to take the things positive and to try to use this time. Yeah, and travel is one, if you are allowed, so travel is one of them, just to travel locally and to see the places. Rajasthan is amazing, you know. Actually, by the way, I love the climate of Rajasthan the most. For me, it was, when I came to Jaipur, it was the city where I felt really good, because the air is quite dry. It's not that humid like in Delhi or in Mumbai. So for me, travel was okay. It was hot, but it was still quite pleasant. You know, I could breathe. But also Orissa is very nice for traveling, though a lot of rain, a lot of rain.
I cannot tolerate humidity, so I don't imagine myself living in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Jaipur is fine. I always complain. Generally, I'm good at complaining. In winters, when it's just 10 degrees, I complain it's cold. When it's in real, it's not cold, because I know what is German winter, Armenian winter, Russian winter, and Indian winter is nothing compared to that. But still, I complain. And summers are the time when I complain about the heat. But then I realize that if I would be in Delhi or in Mumbai, it would be impossible for me, because I don't like humidity at all. And it's good that we're dry, we're in the middle of desert. Yeah. But Rajasthan is really cool, because you can travel from city to city, area to area, and you can see different kingdoms, little kingdoms with different forts, with different palaces. Yeah, this is a good reminder that we should start planning local trips. So I will think when and where we can go next.
Yeah, definitely. Rajasthan, there are so many amazing places that I still need to visit. Like when I was planning my trip in May, Rajasthan was so highly on my list, except, of course, I wanted to go also to Varanasi. I wanted to go to visit something in the south, maybe Darjeeling. But I really definitely wanted to come back to Rajasthan again and to have more time to discover other cities, yeah, because it's the area is amazing, so beautiful, historic.
Definitely love to have you with us. We are excited to see you as soon as possible. Whenever you manage to get new visa.
Hardik, may I just ask you as well, how was for you this lockdown? How did you feel? Because I heard very controversial stories about India. Some people, like I have a lot of friends in India. Some are in Goa, and they told me that they totally enjoy and everything is great, and they will never leave India, and it's fine. Then I had some examples from Delhi who said like it was like the worst time of their life, that they couldn't leave the apartment and so on. So very controversial opinions. How did you survive that?
You know, India is a huge country with so many states, and in real, different states are impacted with different force of coronavirus. So at the beginning, when like Maharashtra was the boom heat of corona, from Jaipur, we were just thinking, oh, it's so good, we can go out and we can buy at least groceries. But then there comes a time when the numbers start growing, and then there is lockdown in the country. I'm not sure how it was in Goa, but there were times at the end of March, there was the beginning of full lockdown, something which I have never seen in my life ever, and I never imagined that in India it's possible. They just locked down everything, starting even from transport. And imagine, Nata, at that moment, we had five participants with us. 4 of them German, 1 Spanish. And we were thinking, should we keep all of them here with us, or should they go back home? Because again, from the government side, there was no instruction. From the embassy side also, there was lack of instruction that, you know, we're evacuating everyone. However, when the lockdown started and the transport was over, there was no taxi. Even our company, our organization was not allowed to take out their car to take our participants to the airport. there the panic starts. We had to spend one full day going to police stations, asking for permission with a special letter from the embassy so that our participants get to airport, so that they fly to their embassy and get evacuated. This sounds like a horror movie now when I remember, because, you know, it's very tough to realize that this is the time when people had this negative attitude towards foreigners. That was the time when coronavirus was associated specifically with Italian travelers, because Jaipur got the big number of travelers because some Italian tourists came who were positive. And you know, the mindset of the sick people who have sick mindset, it's only foreigners spread this infection. So this taboo, this kind of stereotype started making people somehow negative towards seeing other people in their community. So this was making quite pressure on us as an organization, on us as people who live in this surrounding. We've known these people so many years, and we never expected that this kind of reaction could be, you know. And we never expected that like the community that we have, the area, apartment blocks that we have, they will block everything. They closed all the gates, and they were checking everyone, why you're going out, for what you're going out, you need to give a report, like kind of no privacy. If you just want to go even for a walk, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to go to, I don't know, 10 meters away from your home, because not because you're a foreigner, but because it's like that for all the Indians. It's like that for Indians who are in this society. So I'm sure there were a lot of people who were feeling this trauma. Until now, a lot of people don't go out. Till now, in our society, people walk on their rooftops. In the evenings, when you imagine people going to the nature, I don't imagine it. Because at 6 o'clock in the evening, I see a lot of people on their rooftops just walking, because they need to exercise during the day. It's quite challenging. These are really quite challenging times for Rajasthan. There were huge issues with labor people, with those who were working in one city, and then all of a sudden their work got closed and they didn't have money, transport to get back to their villages. This was another challenge. But the good part is that now life is coming back. All the people, they are allowed to work for different construction projects. Shops are open, malls are open, some restaurants, they start reopening again. And we do hope that the number of the infected people will get less, because the impressive part in all this is that no matter how big the Indian numbers are, compared to the US, to the European countries, when we compare, these are not that big.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about population of 1.3 billion. It's not million, it's billion. However, I do appreciate the efforts of the government that they take, because they realize that the risk is big. The risk is of 1.3 billion. And this is a good step that they take to kind of limit people. And in today's reality, the limitations are not there. You can travel from state to state. Internal travel, I don't know, trains are working properly and planes are working properly. So it is possible. It is possible. Just people are more cautious. People tend to be more cautious, and then academic institutions, seminars, and similar projects, they are not open. Again, with the same precaution and precautive methods. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's really crazy. It sounds crazy to me. I must say that there are a lot of critical points what was going on, but I must say in Germany it was quite how to say it, it was pretty relaxed. Like we had some 2 or 3 weeks very intense where people were really afraid and it was kind of scary to go out in the street. But in general, it was like people went out, so we didn't have any laws like to wear gloves or not to go out or I don't know. So it was pretty relaxed, you know, and people took it seriously, of course. We still have a lot of people who are afraid to go out, so they're still traumatized, and even if it's allowed, they're still afraid. We have sometimes I meet people, like I walk in the forest alone, and I meet a jogger, so the one who jogs, and he jogs in the mask. Why are you jogging in the mask in the forest? You are alone here. Yeah, so we have this as well still, but I think that like it's half-half. Yeah, there are people who say that I don't care anymore, just open the borders, give me a plane, and I want to leave, and I want to live my life, and you know, I don't want to have this hospital anymore on the street. And there are people who are really afraid and say like, stay at home, don't go out, we can sit for years, and so on. So it's very different perception of people. Yeah.
The only difference that I would definitely want to highlight, why people here don't prefer to be too much outside. Still, they do. Offices are not that much open the way it used to be in March. But still, some of the offices, they do work. However, there is one big challenge in India, that is social distancing. I mean, if I plan to go to the market, I already know in my brain that social distancing is not possible because there are so many people. While there in Germany, I'm not talking about supermarkets where they keep a line. I'm talking about any street where there are a lot of people. So this is different. In Germany, you just walk, maybe you see 1 or 2 people on the street. In India, you just see a lot of them. So the numbers do matter. Yeah.
Very cultural thing. So in Germany, social distancing is actually, without pandemic, it's there. Like people are not used to be close to each other. People are not used to the bars. Like even if you compare Germany to Spain, you know, in Spain, people love these standing bars where they stay all together, eat, drink, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, in Germany, we don't have this. People sit at separate tables, and so they're far away from each other. And the same outside. Yeah, it's not possible here to have this so much interaction. Or like in Armenia, also people are very warm. You know, they are used to hugs, used to kisses, used to take the hands, and so on. So it's very tough, the social distancing. You know, for some countries it's just normal situation, like Sweden or Germany. Yeah, so it's not a big problem. But yeah, I totally understand that in the global south, let's say, not global south, but in general, in the warmer countries, it's not possible.
Yeah, it is true. Okay, so today we covered so many various topics, starting from pandemic till travel, solo travel, India, not India, Armenia, so many topics. I want to thank you, Nata, for giving your time. We spent nearly 1 hour together. It was amazing to have you with us. We do hope to see you again back in India, in Jaipur, in Agra, in Dharamshala, anywhere, wherever we have our projects running. We would love to see you. We hope that you will keep safe, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hasnik. Thank you for inviting me. I really wish good luck for your organization. I know how much you are on fire to restart the activities because it's quite a new action, new venture of yours, and I know how passionate you are about that because I visited you last year and I saw all this fire in your eyes. So I really wish good luck with that it will restart very soon. I hope for that, and that soon we will meet somewhere in the world.
We will meet somewhere in the world. Okay, so we're signing off, and I would like to tell to our followers that our next live will be with another travel blogger, and please follow us and stay tuned for the next live.